Hello, welcome to episode 180 of Live Drawing. We are here tonight. We're going to keep working on our Undersea Hero box doodles and things. Last week we worked on some of the reward sketches. This was one of them we started. Here's the finished version of that. The other one that we did has already been shipped out. We shipped out another 14 boxes today. So I'll be sending, as I have been throughout this whole process, I'll be sending the tracking information via the Kickstarter platform. So like I'll put it in the back end and it'll send you a message to whatever email you use there, and it'll let you know what the tracking will be. Hey Martha's, I'm doing okay. How are you tonight? But that's how people get their tracking for their Kickstarter rewards, and they are being worked on, and we're going to keep working on them tonight. We'll start with a box doodle. We are out of focus. There we go. There we go. Where's my sketch pad? Each one of these I do, by hand. So yeah, it is chilly out there. It was 12 degrees when I got in my car this morning. Go to the office. I read an interesting Alex Toth piece this morning. It was in a anthology comic from the 80s, and he contributed just a single page, and it was about drawing characters, and it was about embracing the asymmetry of the face and to try to make that more, embrace it and make it more interesting that way. That's something that I've struggled with at times, for sure. This is a character that I've actually been paid by DC Comics to draw, and that is the Joker. So people forget that the one cover I did had like all the major villains on it. So the one time I drew, I made it worth my while. Hey Daniel, how's it going? Yeah, you're getting in depth for a short story, I gotta say, for Dime Box. I've done a couple of study sheets, but like I didn't go into anything too crazy as far as detail goes. Other than I did do a single like faux splash page. So yeah, doing turnarounds for a short story. That's you're putting the work in. Yeah, I drew Joker on. I don't know if I have my cover. I might have it near here. Let's see it here. Is that right? People can look it up. It's yeah, the Joker's on it. Catwoman, the Penguin. Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to look at it. Well, you'll be able to do like a whole behind the scenes of your progress and stuff if you wanted, which would be pretty cool. We've talked about it on this channel before. I always eat that stuff up whenever I see it in a book or just the making of the process. I always think that that's good stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty neat. A little wiry. I like when figures are exaggerated in different ways that you don't expect. You get. I personally get tired of just drawing the same like big bulky characters. Um, and yet, like Undersea Hero, of course, is like a gigantic character when I say that, but it is what it is. Yeah, if you look back at the way in which comic book fight scenes were choreographed, it generally had to do with, like you said, the panel layout or just the amount of real estate that they had. They had to do an entire fight scene in a story in 8 pages, so like you had to have a knockout punch pretty early on in the fight or a clever way to get to the ending. It says, I'll always recall Mark Hamill putting a President-elect Trump New Year's Eve tweet in character as the Joker. I think I remember that too, Patrick. Yeah. I remember when I helped out at a comic book store in Ohio, and it was without question the Joker was the second most popular character from DC at the time. Number one was Batman, and number two was the Joker for sure. Like anything that he was in, like even that old '70s short-lived series. Um, I tend to think with villains that you want to be more exaggerated and not more quote unquote realistic. That's just my take on it. I think that it would be, I think it's scarier that he is more refined or regal rather than like a crustier, dirtier Joker. I think that's kind of a failing of some of the modern interpretations. I find it way scarier. Someone who puts all the effort in that appearance and that presentation, and they think that that is just how it has to be and that it's better that way instead of like, just throwing on whatever. Or to me it's more unhinged that they're well put together and planning all of this stuff rather than just like throwing on whatever's around them and it looks like grungy or whatever. That's just me. Intent and execution can make things, I think, way more terrifying than just thematic interpretation. I haven't seen the most recent Batman movie, and it was, again, it's falling into that trapping of like we want it to be more real, more believable, more. I don't know. I like the more fantastical elements of it, and I don't like when that gets taken out. Then it's just like a detective story with like a guy in a superhero suit. I don't know. I don't find that as interesting. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I did not know that he spoke to Chris Nolan. I met Jerry Robinson a couple of times. He was a nice fellow. As far as the Golden Age guys goes, I actually got to know Marty Nodell pretty well because he was always around the same conventions I was at. We sat next to each other a bunch of times with his son and grandson or grandnephew, Erwin Hazen. You'd see around every now and again. Ken Bald, you'd see every now and again. I still always just will enjoy the Cesar Romero version, and the Mark Hamill one that showed up in Mask of the Phantasm was just like kind of like, especially at the age I saw it, it was like the definitive version for me, and I still enjoy that movie. And I think it's a good movie, but I admit that like it's completely clouded by nostalgia for me. Like I don't know if I could give an unbiased opinion on that film. Lost my connection for a second there. You'll forgive me, I'm on Wi-Fi, so occasionally it clanks out a little bit. Let's see if we can reach the end of our area. That's as far back as we can zoom out, I think, with our high-tech equipment being a hand cranked. Now you'll have to put up with like the scratchy marker noises. So Happy New Year to all. Hey, no worries, Jay. Thanks for popping in. I'll call you back. I'm sorry I was driving when you called. Oh wow, yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I've never seen that. These doodle boxes are just fun to do. I don't know if anyone is around from back when we did the sketch relief back during COVID times, but this is similar to that. If I could get back to doing that uh, after Undersea Hero is done, I would enjoy that very much. If we can get to where we're doing like I would just draw on postcards and slap a stamp on them and mail them to people or whatever. That was good stuff. It was fun. Sorry for the scratchy noises. Scratchy noises for everyone. I'll let that dry a little bit. We can grab some orange. Oh, thanks, Joshua. They're fun for me. I like doing them. I would just sit around, and if someone would pay me to do it, like I've even mentioned this to hey Dennis, to conventions where if they just had me, if they would cover some of my expenses, I would just sit there and draw for like their VIPs for free or whatever. They'd have to make it so I don't got to pay any money to be there, but like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've offered to do for conventions. Thanks, Dennis. And thank you so much for showing off the book with all your media video connections on your page. That was very nice of you to do. Josh, if you're still on, if I can get my stuff that I need to finish the point of purchase displays, I'm hoping I can make it up this weekend to the chicken. I don't know yet. It depends if I get the boxes done. Thanks, man. I got to go back in and fix a few things, but we're close to done on it. Pretty simple, not too crazy. We're trying to, man. How are you doing? At least I finished my shoveling yesterday, which was a day more than I expected. Yeah, time behind the snowblower. Yeah, I don't have one, so I just had to just keep on shoving. You probably have you probably had a house though, so if I had a house, I would definitely get a snow removing monster of some kind. And just a little dab of gold just for the heck of it. All right, there's a box doodle. Do I need to approve a plot in advance? I mean, if you want to send it to me, I'm happy to look at it. I'm not serving as necessarily any sort of editor on this project. What do we sign it in? Green or just black? Let's just go with black. There we go. One down. Long driveway. Yeah, if I had a long driveway. Yeah. Just throw that in the pile and on to the next one. Who should we do next? Do we have any votes for any characters? Pencil here. I've done a lot of Marvel characters, but that's because I never worked for Marvel. Chainsaw Vigilante. Is anybody gonna know who that is? I do enjoy Chainsaw Vigilante. Bebop. Bebop is the Warthog one. Another character I've never drawn for TMNT. I've drawn Rocksteady, oddly enough. If we want to do a Ninja Turtles villain, we'll do that. Does anybody know who these characters are? The COD. Oh yeah, that would be again like a completely. I have to get some, do I have my phone on me? Just get some reference from doing some of these characters I don't draw very often. It's a TMNT theme night on the Masked Singer tonight. Well, there's that is a bit of trivia that we all know. Yeah. Yeah, we could draw Bebop. I remember this one from when I was a kid. He's got the mohawk with the glasses. Try to get the shapes down. I don't get a lot of requests for the villains on TMNT. Everybody just wants the four brothers usually. Occasionally I get asked for a Splinter or Casey Jones. Gotta have like the big goofy teeth. That was something that I remember from the cartoon show. That is funny. Yeah, I hope I can I still have to print out some of the design for the point of sale displays for Undersea Hero, and then I just have to glue them onto uh, the stand. So like everybody that backed the every retailer that backed the Kickstarter gets the display for point of sale, so you can put it right by the register for me. And I think it looks nice. I actually spent a little extra money and got a solid stand instead of cardboard, so it's not just a throwaway stand. This is a Faber-Castell pencil. This is just a cheap Pentel. Yeah. The lead in it though is the Japanese Uni brand, and that's the only thing that makes a difference for me is the lead itself. That's very cool. I've only met Terry Moore a handful of times, and it was at Pittsburgh the first time, Pittsburgh Comic Con. He was up there when I was real young, and then I talked to him at San Diego a few times, and he was his table is kind of like right around the corner from where the NEC table always was. I would ask Kevin or Peter if any of this design was influenced by the Mole Man, just by these glasses. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm trying to embrace the asymmetry, so not worrying about everything on each side being perfectly symmetrical. Am I working on any new projects? I have some ideas, for some shorts once I get the fulfillment done. We put another 14 in the mail today, and that puts us at like 30% of the way through, so I've still got quite a few of these box doodles to go, and then really just doing all this fulfillment. I have been booking some conventions. So I will be at the Franklin Elks show, which is March 29th, and I'll be at the Little Giants show up in April. And I've been working on a few other ones. I've got one other one booked, but I can't announce it until after they announce it. I was trying to get into a couple more of the local shows like Granite State and Wicked, but they have not returned my calls, as they say in the business. I missed a comment about poses. I have not talked to Bob in quite some time. Basically, once George retired and like the circumstances changed at NEC, I have not heard from Bob. As we've shared here on multiple occasions, I don't know if NEC is done with publishing any Tick comics. I have no idea. Ben owns the rights. I have no idea with George having retired what's going to happen. But Planet Comics, I did the cover for, and Jeff McClellan has successfully published his book with Ben's permission and the Tick in it. So if you're looking for a new Tick story, head over to Jeff McClellan's page and Wagon Wheel Comics, and I'm sure he can hook you up, or you can just see me at a convention because I bought a ton of copies so that I'd have it at shows and appearances. I've never actually done Granite State. I was never one of their people, and I always got the same thing from artists who paid for tables: is that it's a tough one for when you're starting off in the red. So when I'm asking shows for a spot, all I'm asking for is a table. I'm not asking for per diem. I don't charge for autographs. I'm not asking for hotels, travel, Yeah, I'll definitely have it there. It'll be fun. I did do a sketch of the mummy character for the first time in many years, and I'll send it over to Harry and the gang. If they want to use it for anything, they're welcome to. Love the mohawk, I gotta be honest. It's a good look. Good look for the warthog fella. I try not to knock out commissions all that quickly. It just depends. Like when I'm at a show, if somebody wants a head sketch, like that's what this really all is just a quick head sketch or whatever. Those I can knock out. But when somebody pays me like a good, I don't, my full figures are cheaper than most, but I still take them, as if I try to make them as good as if they're going to be published. So, when you've drawn the Tick as many times as I have, you can draw him with your eyes closed, basically. I was listening to Eric Talbot's podcast with Simon Bisley was their main guest. That was a really excellent listen. They don't pay me or anything, and I've only met the guys a handful of times, but it was well worth it. I would suggest people check out Eric Talbot's last interview with Simon. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to send it along. Yeah, I knew he did the Facebook page. I had no idea what the working arrangement was, so I just know that, from back in olden times, I used to do the artwork and send them to Harry, because I used to do all the posters a long time ago. And if he doesn't want to use it, it doesn't bother me any. Josh, let me know if you're doing any Rubber Chicken presents this year. I would definitely, since Undersea Hero is on the way to being done with fulfillment and such and everything, I would love to pitch something that way. Oh, thanks, Dennis. I'm glad you dig it. He's got like bones and stuff hanging from his armor chest there. Hey, Michael, good to see you. No worries. Hope you're working on something good or just relaxing. Always good to see you. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, let me know. I would definitely love to pick your brain about trying to get into that. He's got like a little skull type thing around his neck. Oh, no problem, Dennis. I think I've only drawn him a handful of times in my life, and usually it's people who want him with Rocksteady. These are fancy pens. These are the Tombow pens, but you can get these at basically any Michaels these days. They're great. I love them, and they're not that expensive. So I would tell people that they're a fun thing to experiment with. Werewolf with a Chainsaw 5. Nice. That's an accomplishment. When an indie book gets 4 or 5 issues, that's a big deal. There's like a little animal skull on one side. He's got a purple mohawk, right? I don't remember what color his glasses were. Maybe they were silver. I've got a silver marker if they're silver. Does anybody remember? What is Eric Talbot's podcast show called? It's Drawing Something. I forget, but I really enjoyed the interview with because they've known each other. They worked on Melting Pot. They worked on all kinds of books for Mirage and stuff together. And Eric, the handful of times I've gotten to see him, has just been a super nice guy. We traded drawings one year. We were sitting next to each other at a show. I think it was at Boston, and it was actually his daughter that came over to my booth and liked one of the drawings and asked if we could just trade. And I was like, "Yeah, I'd be delighted. That would be great." I am always down for trades at conventions. So like, if you are an artist or even an aspiring artist and you just want to trade sketches at a show, just swing on by the booth. Oh, okay, so he's got a purple mohawk, green shoulders, and then the vest is red. So I gotta fit in a little bit more in the vest. My bad. Oh well. Sorry, it's a little off spec. We do need the gold for his nose ring. Use the gold marker. And then his glasses are blue. Sorry if the scratching noises annoy people again. I know Camille hates them, so I don't want to bother people. Let's get our white done. We only got to do the two teeth, I think, is the only white we have on this. Oh, the correlator. Yes, you can have fun with that character's dialogue. There's certain characters that I thought about, in my head, that like Krakus. I in my mind has like a fairly deadpan tone, and actually, the guy whose voice I hear in my head sometimes is actually the writer that I work with, Jeff McClellan. If you've ever met Jeff, he's got the Midwestern manner of speaking. And, sketchbook live stream. There you go. Thank you, Joshua. Look at that. Research team is on it. He was doing it with another artist that I've never met before. I don't know if they are collaborators or they share a studio or just pals. I always think of the goofy voice of Bebop and Rocksteady from the cartoon show. That's generally what comes to my mind when I think about Bebop and Rocksteady. I don't even want to make the voice because it would just sound awful. It's got that henchman vibe to it. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Drawing Bebop from TMNT. For a while, I didn't draw any Turtles characters at all. Like, I don't know. I drew them so often at shows that I just wasn't really enjoying it. So I put them on the shelf. But, like, lately, just doing these boxes, I've been having fun. So maybe I'll dust it off and draw some more in the, like my Doodle repertoire. I sometimes I have like a $20 binder where I put like just little sketches and stuff that I draw while I'm working or on the phone or whatever on computer paper. Maybe I'll try to draw a few of those for people. Those tend to sell quick at shows, the $20 sketch binder, because it'll be prelims, stuff I'm working on. I don't think I'm going to be selling my Undersea Hero prelims though. Well, I remembered because it's both of our favorite turtle. That was the easy part. I tend to remember if we have the same turtle that we like. My brother's favorite turtle was Raph, and I was always a Leo guy too, so. My brain doesn't remember everything, but if we like the same character in something, I can remember that, usually. Sometimes. Occasionally. Okay, well, we'll just say I remembered it this time. Yeah, Brian, we got another 14 in the mail, so people are getting the books. There we got his little pink tongue coming out. I think I have a light blue that I will try. I've been using it just for signing because it works really well on the books, but I just feel like the drool needs like just a little bit of light blue. Oh, that is fun. An oversized TMNT coloring book. I've been looking for, and I'm not sure which version to buy. I would like to own a reprint of like the early original issues in black and white. Now, I know they've released them in color a million times. And the graphic novel I had as a kid was color, but I don't want that. I want a black and white copy that goes with, what they were doing at the time. And we'll just add a tiny bit of white up here. Deadpool. Oh, thanks. Doodle boxes. Well, I mean, it sounds nice that way. I think it's a good name. Purple if it was purple mohawk. Deadpool next. I don't know, do we want to draw Deadpool? He's just got kind of a ninja mask. Oh, I forgot to add the red for his vest. My bad. Cyclops could be fun. I like. We all know I like the X-Men, so. All right. There's box number 2 for the night. You got the right sign. Cable. Oh man. I don't have Disney Plus, so I've never seen the new X-Men cartoon. I watched the original in the 90s, of course, because I was, a little kid when it was on at 11 in the morning on Saturday mornings. Well, I mean, people have been waiting for a really long time for this book, so at least I can do is give them a nice box drawing, right? Oh, Cyclops is your favorite X-Man? Don't hear that too often, but he is very much a important figure in the X-Men universe that has definitely been neglected over the years from a cinematic standpoint. My favorite X-Man was always Colossus. He was always my favorite X-Man. He was an artist, and he would rather absorb a blow protecting somebody than hurt someone else, which I always liked. And like when I was a kid during Fatal Attractions, he was going through this like whole thing where his sister died, and then he goes and works for Magneto for a little while because he doesn't know what to believe in anymore, and that was like a uh, big story arc for me as a kid. And my second favorite would probably be Storm. I always thought she was great. First issues of her that I read where it was like she was the main character were some of the like Rick Leonardi X-Men in the 80s. And I didn't buy them new because I bought my comics mostly in like the bargain bin, literally. And at the time, those comics were, you know, 10, 15 years old, and those were the ones kind of like if you look at a dollar bin now that you're looking at dollar bins, it's all comics from like the last 10 years or so. Except at Rubber Chicken Comics, where you can still get like Copper Bronze for $1 a piece, which is legends. You didn't say which version, so I'm just going to assume you meant like the Jim Lee version. So. Yeah, the Marvel Comics Presents series did a solo arc called God's Country. And it was written by Ann Nesenti and drawn by Leonardi, and that's a great one. Sure, sounds good. All right, look at our Bloodline. That was the Jorge Molina. Or was Lucas the artist on that? I don't remember. Lucas, I was close. Well, that's what the comic artist dream is that people like it so much that they can't stop reading it. So that's the mountaintop. Oh, okay. Thanks. Reading Undersea Heroes you watched. That's hey, what can we say? Other than thank you. It's the shell piece. It's the dare to any cosplayer or cross promoter. And actually, that was actually one element behind the scenes. I was early on when I was showing it around to different people and deciding what to do with it and what I could be seeing what my options were, what to do with it. That was actually one element where one of the publishers is like, uh, if we did publish this, you would have to change this. This was early on, and like I won't name the company, but that was actually one of the things where they were like, this makes us uncomfortable, and I'm like, well, it's kind of supposed to. Um, as a person who grew up on like all the weirdness of comics, like cartoons like Ren and Stimpy and things like that, was uh, this was, I would consider the shell piece quite tame by comparison, but of you know, if you think about Rocco's Modern Life, some of the weird stuff that was in there, and all the different just. I did watch Cow and Chicken. Yes, yes, a long time ago. I liked that show. I liked the Angry Beavers. That was another one. Actually, my dad liked that show. It's been a long time though since I've seen that. What were the other ones that were on around that time? Courage the Cowardly Dog. I remembered that one. It's been a long time, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't remember them all. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think you mentioned that. Yeah, congratulations, man. That's right. We've got a celebrity green room person here on our stream tonight, so we gotta remember what's what here. Remember what the scoreboard is. Pretty soon you're going to have a standard per diem rider for your convention appearances. I need 11 bags of Lay's potato chips placed alphabetically by flavor on my duvet in the second room that I won't be using, but I require it for my emotional state of being. And if I don't know that it's there, even though I'm not using it, I can't attend your show. I'm sorry. You need to leave a room completely empty for my emotional state of being. What I'm doing right now is just layering the hair. And this is something that requires like a fair amount of practice to do it quickly, but it's something that once you learn how. Oh, Jimmy and George, yeah. Eek the Cat, that was another one from that time. Sun Chips, not Lay's, yes. When I worked for the company that ran a bunch of conventions, like Rhode Island and stuff, we did have people ask for things like specific types of water, um, specific snacks, very, very specific. So, like that sort of thing is not uncommon. Gotta have all the little extra lines when you're doing the 90s versions of the character. Thanks, man. Try not to mess it up. No, I've never worked on bowl of M&Ms. No red M&Ms. That's correct. No, I've never done anything for Marvel. I've only ever done anything for DC and IDW and Dynamite, Boom, New England Comics, of course. Um, Source Point. I've actually never worked for Image either. I've never had anything in an Image book. Congrats to a friend of the channel, Chris Campana, for getting to draw a official Spawn cover amongst his many other accolades. I know he was just excited about that one, so I want to acknowledge it and give him props. Was there a doodle before the Joker one? No, I have not. The Joker was the first one, and then we did Bebop. So we're actually going to be running a little late because I want to finish this one. Sorry, you'll have to tolerate a slightly longer stream tonight, or you can just fall asleep, as I believe some people do, which is okay. I just need a sip of water. All right, we'll start with some yellow. Oops, gotta get our tape off of here. We'll see if we can get it done. Oh, the tape doesn't want to come off. Come on, tape. There we go. All right. I did do test, or I was offered test pages at one point for Marvel, and it was just a matter of like I didn't have the time to do a bunch of pages on spec at the time, and I just never reached back out to Ricky. Ricky Purdon's one of the talent people for Marvel. I think he's still there. He used to work for Wizard Magazine. Let that dry before we hit it with some get the pencil marks off. Thanks, man. I'm not in love with some of the color mixing, but I've never tried to mix these paint pens before, so I'm not surprised that they're reacting a little wonky on this stuff. I'm hoping when I add the white to it, it'll pull some of it together. But I think we need to add some more pink to this. I think there's too much yellow. One of the things that makes it easier when you're drawing characters people know is some of the drawing mistakes can be forgiven because you're leaning kind of into the iconography and the stuff that you're actually filling in some of the mistakes that I'm making in your mind with stuff that you already know. So that's, one of the reasons that when we draw familiar characters, it actually helps with the recognition. And it's a good thing. It's the iconography of like the well-designed characters. We'll hit the blue. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that hair layering is something that just takes practice. Actually, a number of years ago, I found a nice old hairdresser's book online, and I spent a very long time in my sketchbook just drawing different types of hairstyles. Um, and that was really informative. And it was really like actually an instructional book of like, this is how you make this haircut. And it explained it to me so that I could figure out how to layer it in a drawing. So. Do we have any credit cards where I can do some spatter on here? See if we can do some spatter. Accidentally bumped that with my hand. Thanks, Josh. Oops, the tape gave way. Tape gave way. All right, well, I think we can finish off our little square background that we've been doing on these. Should probably be red, right? That's been kind of the consistent color throughout this whole thing. There we go. We got 3 box doodles done tonight, so that's pretty good. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. We got that one done. We got Bebop done, and then we got the Joker. So thanks everybody for hanging out, and yeah, have a good rest of your week, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks everybody. I'll see you.